we're good. We'll call to, all right, we'll call to order at 7:32. Good morning, everybody. We'll just stand for the pledge of allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. First item is recommended actions, approval of minutes from the February 5th meeting. I'm not looking at my notes here. I'll be looking for, well, you know what? We'll table that for the next meeting.
Yeah, she didn't.
We'll table it for the next meeting. She didn't send them to us, right? Okay. Okay, that's fine. We'll just table that for the next one. There's no old business, so we'll go to agenda item D, project administration, bid document release authorization, Steve, bid 25-0014, hazardous material abatement monitoring services for Drum Rock.
Mr. Davis will take care
I'll
of it.
take this. This is for, so the state requires us to have a hazmat monitor during the hazmat abatement process for the Drum Rock building and any hazmat abatement that's done on the project, but this is specifically for the Drum Rock demo and hazmat abatement. The monitor ensures that the process is being done cleanly and according to the state's guidelines. Again, it is a requirement. We solicited bids, got two in return. The low bidder is from ECM.
Going to stay open. It's open.
Yeah.
No, it's going to stay open.
For $7,950. The other bidder didn't properly respond to the RFP. ECM is also doing the survey work for us, so it should make for a relatively seamless process overall. So we recommend this. So
So we got two bids, right?
we have two bids.
And the second bidder didn't bid properly, correct? Okay. All right. Any questions for Mr. Bates on that?
John,
This is just for release.
Okay, so,
We're doing it, we're releasing and then we're going to accept the bid.
okay, so there's no vote, there's no action to take on.
We vote to release.
Gotcha. Okay.
I jumped the gun.
Any questions for John?
John, I just have a question. Once this goes through, are we still on the timeline for March for that to start?
No, I think it's looking more like April. Yeah, more like April.
Early, end? Do we know, early April, end of April, when we get to the permit?
Mid-April. Yeah, I mean, we do have, there's some checkpoints we need to do with RIDE, so it has to be uploaded to RIDE, a separate project. That's something that just like within the last week.
Yeah.
So a little bit of extra paperwork there and, but,
Could we put some equipment up there?
well, so what, just curious, what's,
It's a parking issue
okay.
that
So
I
are you,
run into continuously that,
are we talking about reception issue?
yes, thank you.
Optics.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about.
Well, I mean, like we've been saying, there's going to be some activity out there, but just to the extent of what that activity is, I can't.
Okay.
Yeah, we've been doing the borings up
Yes,
there.
yeah, I know.
There's a bunch of things we have been doing up there, so.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Any other questions for John? Okay. Next is bid 25-0015, exterior door upgrades at Hoxie Robinson and Wyman.
And this is the revised building envelope bid packages, so this is for Hoxie Robertson and Wyman bid release.
So this is where we kind of regrouped and we're gonna do doors because the window bid came in so high. All right, so this is just a release. Okay. Any questions for Steve on that? The next one is bid 25-0016, exterior door upgrades at Cedar Hill and Park.
So we divided these 5 schools up. So the second package is Cedar Hill Park. The reasoning behind that is though they are far apart, they are basically the same school and design. That's why we packaged these two together. Seek your approval.
Steve, is there on the folder here, this Park Robinson Wyman building? You guys said Hawks is there on the document, that's not here.
I believe that.
Let's go by the folder.
Oh, we got,
Is somewhere else in the folder?
Let me take a look.
yeah, it's just the title of documents. Hoxie Robinson Wyman doors. Yeah, and then Door upgrades. It looks like the same, is it the same document twice, Bill?
I didn't see the,
Oh, the one, yeah, the one for Cedar Hill and Park is not, all right, I see what you're saying, yeah. That one's not there. It looks like we have the bid and then the drawings for Oxy Robinson and ET line. Yeah, it looks like the other ones didn't make it into the folder. That's from what I can see. That's in the other folder. I mean, the other one. Yeah, it looks like the same things are in the twice. But,
So you got one bid up top, which is Huxley, so that's the bid documents there.
Yep.
And if we go to the next one. Yeah, did it?
Cedar Hill?
If you look, there's two folders. There's bid doc 25-0015. That's one. Then there's another folder that says bid doc 25-0016.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Okay.
There's your ones, okay. Yeah, nope, it's there, yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, Steve. You're welcome. Any questions for Steve on the Cedar Hill Park? Okay, all right, so the next would be bid review and awards. Here's where we take the action, okay? Bid 25-0013, that's the land appraisal services for Tollgate. This is
Yeah, that's a rebid. You'll recall that we bid this out and only received one bid, from BBG. We decided to rebid it this time around. We got two bids. Again, BBG submitted, for $9,500. They were the low bidder of the two. The other one was double the price. And they were a local firm also.
What was that other one?
Scotty.
Either Scotty, yeah, so double the price. BBG has done a similar, land swap for a middle school project in Milton, Mass that I'm somewhat familiar with. So I know that they have the experience to do it. And given the price, I think we're going to recommend award.
Okay.
David, why
Yes.
why do we need this? What is this for?
Oh, boy. Okay. So.
Short
Yeah, right. In the 70s, there was federal money given to support playground infrastructure at several properties, right, within the city, one of them being on the Tollgate site. So it's a requirement by DEM that we do this land appraisal in order for them to authorize us to do a land swap, taking that acre and putting it in another part of the city, essentially. So it's
It's code common on a lot of Rhode Island projects, right now. Precedent has been in other districts that this is just, it's a kind of check the box thing. As long as we're providing the same amount of land, we're okay, but,
Got it.
South Kingstown, Central Falls, they've all had these same land swaps.
We work with the planning department, right? Is that, you guys have been involved with this? So.
We're involved, but we passed off to
Yeah.
this project.
Any other questions for,
How much money did the federal government give to us back then? Does anybody know?
Oh, it's,
$500.
yeah.
yes, was there a similar issue with Aldrich too? With the land behind
Aldrich is
Aldrich?
being kind of
That's
wrapped
all
into
part of
this.
this, part of it.
Yeah.
Okay,
It's essentially a number of appraisals they do into.
Four properties in total that we have to get appraised. So
Okay. All right, any other questions for John on that? Okay, hearing none, looking for a motion to approve bid award 25-0013.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Lucy, seconded by Mr. DeCourt. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Next is bid 25-0014, hazardous material abatement monitoring services for Drum Rock. Who's this?
Nope, so all the things that I said in the beginning, that
Yeah.
applies to this. It's
Yeah.
$79.50. We recommend award.
Any questions for Mr. Bates on that? If not, I'm looking for motion to approve bid 25-0014. Moved by Ms. Glory, seconded by Mr. Kravitz. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, next, recommended awards, Secoshman Associates, $11,720. This is a building committee rebid approval. Steve, refresh our memories, please.
This has to do with because we had redesign documents.
For which project? I don't know.
The ones we just approved to go out to bid.
Oh, so this is
Building- the building envelope.
This is the design work that you guys did?
Well, I could add a little bit to that. It's basically for the schools that are in parentheses after that. Hoxie is not included because we never bid Hoxie before. But this is only for the bidding process. We didn't charge anything for revising all the bid documents. It took us a month to revise all the bid documents. We didn't charge for that, but we're just charging for the bidding process so that we have to do over again.
Okay. Any questions for Steve on that? Okay, hearing none, looking for a motion to approve Sakosha and Associates for $11,720.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Lucy, seconded by Mr. DeCourt. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, favorite part of the agenda, change order reports. A, all board construction, $16,748 for Holloman, PCO number 13.
This one is, several locations. We have found that when you pull the windows out, they sit on knee walls or brick shelving, and the brick is falling apart. You could not tell this beforehand. They just, like, 3 or 4 courses fell right off the top, so we had to rebuild the knee walls. The other thing we found is there's a cold joint in the masonry addition. As you face the building on the left-hand side, they butted, CMU, Cinnabog against brick and never tied it together with rebar or ties or anything. So it's separated. We have a 1-inch crack on either side. So we had to redo that. So, I had them package it all together so that we didn't come up with 3 or 4 small change orders, just one change order to handle all this work. So $16,748.
Any questions for Steve or Steve or whoever? All right, hearing none, looking for a motion to approve, PCO number 13 for all work at $16,748. So moved. Moved by Mr. Lucy, seconded by Mr. Kravitz. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Next, Wallborg, $7,005, Warwick Neck ADA elevator site.
Okay, we have 4 change orders. These are really housekeeping. Number 18 is the only one that's really not housekeeping. We've been looking at this for a while. What we found is, there was a retaining wall down at the new entrance, at the lower level to the elevator. And we found that, the water was coming down at such high velocity that it was jumping over the retaining wall. So we added a cap to it to keep the water from going to the sidewalk and then getting in the building. We had tried a couple of things regrading, but it's still the way that site is. There wasn't much to do, so we added a cap to it. It's worked well. We haven't had a problem since. So $2,920 to seek your approval.
That's what we're taking one at a time. You want to take it? Okay. All right. So looking for approval for, PCO number 18 for $2,920.
So moved.
Moved by Ms. Gallery, second by Mr. Lucy and Superintendent Dambrug. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
19 is we changed some pipe material, saved some money, so we picked up $1,500, so it's a credit for $1,500 for pipe material change. So if you approve that.
Any questions for Steve on that? So there's the most to approve PCO 19. For credit, so moved by Mr. Kravitz, seconded by Mr. DeCourt. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Number 20, $1,044.
This was a correction to the change order, previous change order, where the number got entered incorrectly on the change order, so we are adding another PCO, so we'll go to another change order to make the numbers work the way they're supposed to. So we seek your approval.
Look for motion to approve PCO number 20 for $1,044. Moved by Mr. Kravitz, second. I'll second, and Mr. DeCourt seconds. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Number 21, added fire alarm devices, $4,541.
This was during final inspection by the fire alarm superintendent. He requested 4 additional fire alarm devices. It's his call. Authority having jurisdiction makes that call.
Okay.
So we seek the approval.
Can't quite tell them no, can you?
Yeah.
All right.
But you can't open.
Yeah. Looking for a motion to approve PCO number 21 for $4,541. So moved by Mr. DeCourt, second by Mr. Holmes and Mr. Kravitz. All in favor? Aye. Opposed, motion carries. Okay, next, E.W. Berman, Oakland Beach, $7,595.
As you may remember, we had a pipe burst at Oakland Beach in the kindergarten room. Went and doing some research, talking to Mr. Oliver, we found that in the past, when the heat has failed in that room, it happened before. So to avoid that happening in the future, I worked with the engineer. We came up with a solution where we lowered that particular pipe that froze to about 2 inches above the ceiling, insulated it, and then with 2-inch pipe insulation, then insulated over it again with 6-inch insulation, and then above the bathroom, where it had never been insulated before, we actually built a structure and insulated over that. It's worked out well, and unless we lose heat for days on end, we should be fine. So this was a request by myself to get this done so that we don't have any future issues. Seek your approval.
Any questions for?
Look at the original piping then.
I have no
Was
idea.
it burned in?
No, absolutely not. This was existing condition.
Well, for me, it's, we had a pipe burst there before. And
Yeah,
obviously it was inadequately insulated, so we fixed it and then it's, so, you know, it is what it is, and we uncover it every time we open up something in the older buildings, but I'm just amazed. If you did it right the first time, we wouldn't have to do it a second time, but that's me. Any other questions for Steve on that? All right, hearing none, look for motion to approve, change order for Berman, for $7,595. So moved. Moved by Mr. Lucy,
Second.
seconded by Ms. Calori. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next is GZA Environmental, $24,500. Pilgrim and Tollgate High School. This is
Mr. Bates.
Mr. Bates.
Okay, so at both schools, we've discussed this at some length, that it would behoove us to install a passive radon mitigation system at both schools. That's essentially a perforated pipe system and some risers at certain locations that would exhaust radon in the event that radon is present. It's very short money to install this passive system now, before the concrete slabs are poured, as opposed to having to do it later. If in the future a radon test pops positive, then we'd have to address it, right? So we think it's a smart thing to do now during the design phase to install this radon system. And so this proposal is for GCA to design that system for both schools. So that we talked it down a little bit in their fee, and we think it's an appropriate fee, so we recommend it.
Questions?
What do they anticipate the cost to be? And is this a common thing to put radon?
It's a common thing in this
Yeah.
part of Rhode Island. That's
Yeah.
for sure, yeah, especially with all the ledge.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Tollgate, and looking at a radon map, you're in the, well, I'll defer to our planning director as well, but I'm sure he can provide some insight that there's some significant radon in these areas.
This is just the design?
Just the design.
Just for the design, yeah. And the system itself, we don't have a number on, but it would be, pennies now as opposed to, like I said, later, if we had to
That
start
disruption.
Cut through a slab.
slab to install the system down the road, so.
I can speak a little bit to that too. We did a project in Cranston where we did a school and there was a lot of ledge. We found a lot of ledge. And we had it tested and there was radon there. So we ended up having to put a system. So, and we learned that anytime there's ledge on a site, you're gonna find radon.
So even if we test now, once we start popping the ledge and doing our excavation, the chances are much greater that radon is gonna pop later. And same thing could happen at Pilgrim. It may not show now, but after we excavate, we could release, radon, and we're much better off checking
So
now.
who sets the limit? Is it DEM that sets the limit? Is the state limit?
It's a state, we have to test yearly here.
Imagine they put units every so many square feet, right?
But would you, as far as,
Because they drill into, if you find it in a building, you drill, you core drill, put a pipe in the ground, they put a system in, run it through the roof and call it a day.
yeah, well,
But is there a square footage calculation on when you would need them? Is that what they're gonna come up with?
That's what that's part of this proposal is
So that's what they're basically doing.
Yeah.
They need X amount of units in this facility, find a way to do.
where are you gonna run the pipe, how you gonna run the pipe?
What we're doing now is just the infrastructure basically for the system. If we did need to exhaust the radon, we would install blowers. But we're not doing that phase yet. We're just setting up, the piping system so that in the future, if we needed it, you could quickly install the blowers and do what you need to do to exhaust.
We're getting a lot more than I thought. I mean, there's 4 tasks in here. Only the first task is like 4,500 for the design for each school, so I think that's good. They got testing, meetings, construction phase support.
It's a not to exceed, so I don't anticipate needing the bottom 2 items, at least not to the extent that they've proposed. So I agree that I think that the design fee itself is reasonable. We'll see if we need the bottom 2 items.
But isn't the state limit for radon much lower than the federal limit?
I can't speak to that off the top of my head, what the limits are, state versus.
I can't either, but it's,
The state is 5 picocuries or something like, as the units,
I'm,
right?
that was on Jeopardy last night.
I have one in my house, so.
I have one in my old house up in Milton, actually. I think if there's regulations, generally ROD goes with the more restrictive regulations.
We should never be less than the federal limit. I mean, if the EP limit's 20 and we're 5, why is that? So,
Been around long enough to ask those questions.
There won't be a limit in 2 weeks.
What we want to avoid is that we went through all this effort and money to install, these beautiful new buildings. And then 1, 2, 3 years from now, after the move in, oh my God, we have radon issues. Why didn't you think of that?
Yeah.
Before you poured the slab?
it's not
You had the
some
opportunity.
type of barrier you can put that would eliminate the concern.
Barrier into the slab I don't know.
No, you're putting plastic.
There's already-
We have a lot of different, there's vapor barrier, there's moisture barrier, there's lots of things that are in the slab,
But
but
not a radon barrier.
But the other thing is,
you can't put a lead screen
the other thing is if it becomes perforated at any time,
Better to have and not need.
it would cost hundreds of thousands to do it.
I mean, I make the motion to approve.
No, any other questions for Mr. Bates? Okay, there's a motion to approve by Mr. Kravitz, a second by Mr. Deport. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Last meeting I had mentioned, just to get a rough idea of where we are percentage wise with change orders on the projects, and Al Calcagno has put something together. He'll share it with us, but essentially we're 2% right now on Holloman and we're 5% at Oakland Beach, and Oakland Beach we're pretty much done. So that's where we're at right now. He's got a spreadsheet that makes my eyes get numb. So, but bottom line is it's 2% and 5%. So, all right. So now we're into consent payment authorizations. Okay. All-door construction, items A, B, and C. Steve, I'll do one at a time. How do I do it?
Yeah, you can do it one at a time.
Okay, so first one is 151,196 for Greenwood Mechanical renovation. So moved by Mr. Lucy, second. Second by Mr. Kravitz. Any questions for Steve on this? Okay, hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next, application number 5 for $380,622 for the Holloman renovation. Moved by Ms. Calori, second by Mr. Lucy and Mr. Deport. Any questions for Steve? Holloman's on track. Everything's
Where is the?
Yes, it is.
way ahead of schedule. Good. Okay, hearing no other questions, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Next, application number 8, $74,470, Waller Connect ADA elevator site. Motion to approve? Moved by Mr. Kravitz and Mr. Holmes, seconded by Ms. Calori. Any questions for Steve? Is that complete now? Elevators?
Well, we have some, plannings to do, you know, some, in the spring, and we have one depression in the asphalt that needs to be taken care of.
Okay.
And, we're holding up fund for that.
Okay, all in favor? Aye,
Aye.
opposed, motion carries. Next item, D, communication systems, $5,715. Steve.
Every time we shut off the PA system for the summer, it never, that never comes back. So, we put in a new head end unit. There will be another charge coming. Some of the switch units have failed, so they're gonna have to be replaced. So we seek your approval to put a head end unit, replacement of some speakers, and the rewiring as needed. So $5,715 for the new PA system at Greenwood Mechanic.
Is this an old,
Hmm?
is this an old PA system?
Yeah, this is.
I don't know if it's original. Okay.
I know how they are.
Okay,
But every time you turn them on, they just do not come back.
okay. Any questions for Steve on that? All right, motion to approve. Item D, moved by Superintendent Danbrook, seconded by Mr. Kravitz. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Next, items E and F, Dimeo Construction, high school pre-construction, application number 10 for Pilgrim, $19,135. Gonna do one at a time, or,
Yeah, John will take.
okay, John, application 10 for Pilgrim.
Yep, their 10th and final application for pre-con services for Pilgrim. It's very well earned. We recommend approval.
Any questions for John on that?
I think we'll save some of the news we have on pre-construction efforts for the update.
Okay, fine. All right, looking for motion to approve application number 10 for $19,135. Moved by Mr. Holmes, seconded by Mr. Kravitz. All in favor? Aye, opposed, motion carried. Okay, next, application number 10 for Tollgate High School, CTC enabling work, $23,364.
Same thing for Tollgate with the addition of the modular classroom rental, monthly rental fee.
Is
So
this the final one for that too?
final, but what not for the modular. I think we'll
Final
continue to see an invoice for the $4,200 for the modular classroom
Yeah, that'll continue until.
Yeah. for
No longer.
quite some time. Yeah.
All right, any questions for Mr. Bates on that? Hearing none, looking for a motion to approve application 10 for $23,364. Moved by Mr. Kravitz, second by Ms. Calori, all in favor? Aye, opposed, motion carries. Okay, next, items G and H, ECM, Building Committee recommended approval in September. Two invoices totaling $1,542.50 for the Park Building envelope and Robinson Building envelope.
This is for testing for the doors, mostly caulking around the doors and test for hazardous materials.
Any questions for Steve? Okay, hearing none, looking for motion to approve ECM items G and H for $1,542.50. Moved by Superintendent Danbrook, second by Mr. Lucy, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Excuse me, next, item I, ECM High School, 7,310 for the Career and Tech Center Annex at Drum Rock. This is just the testing for what, Steve?
This is for, testing of, the entire Drum Rock building for hazardous materials and creating a abatement plan.
So it's pre-demolition.
Yes.
Okay,
In preparation for the demolition of the building.
okay. Any questions for Steve on that?
Yeah, Steve, how does that square with the 7950 up above,
Separate, it's a separate service.
separate
Yeah,
service?
so this, what we're approving now is for the hazmat survey and the hazmat abatement plan. And then we're also required to have a hazmat monitor, so that when the hazmat abatement contractor comes in and starts doing the abatement, we need to make sure that the air is clean and they're following all the proper protocols. So that's what ECM will be doing for that 7950, is the monitoring. So two separate services.
Okay. Both done by ECM, so they're doing both. Yeah, okay,
Yeah, they were located.
okay. All right, any other questions for anyone on that? If not, looking for motions to approve ECM for $7,310. Moved by Mr. Decort.
So they're doing the work and then they're supervising
And the
themselves.
supervisor.
No, they're not doing the abatement.
Okay.
They're done with that abatement contractor.
Okay.
They're identifying the issues,
Yeah.
and then the monitoring contractor is gonna do the abatement.
So it was moved by Mr. Zakor. Second, I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Next, E.W. Berman, application J, $91,419, Oakland Beach renovation. Steve. Right?
Yes. This is, not the last invoice, but one of the last.
So we're almost completely finished there.
Actually, found some more items they need to address, so.
And we're still holding money back, right?
Yeah.
That's correct. Right, okay. All right, any questions for Steve on item J? Okay, hearing none, looking for motion to approve E.W. Berman for $91,419.62. So moved by Mr. Lucy, second. Second by Ms. Valori. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
I think, you think we could round off to the nearest dollar? Why do we have to add two more digits to a 5-digit number?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
I don't know if
We have to make the math work.
meeting accuracy, I'm not sure.
I had first time at the beginning of the
Never
project,
mind.
and they said that, you know, they're formulated, but it doesn't work.
But Bill had a great point, no, he was, we eliminated the penny. So we don't need pennies.
No need pennies in there.
No.
It costs too much to make.
Just ask Mr. Trump.
All right, next. Item L, which is Hoffman Engineering.
They're missing, yeah.
I'm sorry. All right, item K, Garofalo, $3,250 for Tollgate High School. What's this for, Steve? Or John or so.
This underground survey work,
Yeah. Yeah.
radar surveying
Okay.
for utilities.
All right, any questions for John on that? If not, look for motion to approve Garofalo for $3,250. So moved by Mr. Lucy, second. Second by Superintendent Danbrook. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, item L, Hoffman Engineering, $3,253.70.
The, last invoice on the green wood oil tank closing. The DEM work that Hoffman does, all the paperwork, monitoring, testing results, all of that.
Any questions for Steve? If not, looking for a motion to approve Hoffman for $3,253.70. Moved by Ms. Valori, second, I'll second. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next item M, left field, high school, $110,000. Pilgrim Tollgate project, February 25 services.
After our last meeting with Ryan, I was told that my field is turning that item.
I like Mr. Lucy too, I recommend this one.
So moved. So moved. Moved by Mr. Lucy, second. Second by Ms. Valori. Any questions? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Next, item N, Rhode Island General Treasurer, $900 for Tollgate High School.
This is for the, Department of Health filing for the abatement plan for the Drum Rock demolition.
All right, motion to approve General Treasurer for $900. Moved by Mr. Kravitz, seconded by Mr. Decort. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Next, item O, Som Architecture. $546,176 for Pilgrim High School design, January 2025.
Yep, monthly progress payment, and they're on track, and we recommend payment.
Any questions for left field on that? Hearing none, looking for motion to approve Som Architecture. Moved by Mr. Kravitz, seconded by Mr. Decort. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Okay, items P through S, Sakosha and Associates Bond 2 Project Design, totaling $12,955.24.
This is for the ongoing, the construction administration work for, all of, the projects we have going on with Oakland Beach, Holloman. As you can see, the They are separated, that we have to do that with the way the bond's set up, but Holloman is actually one project, and then that's the,
Okay, and Open Beach is fine. You guys are done with Open Beach. And Holman's still on done.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Okay, any questions for Steve on any of those? And hearing none, looking for motion to approve Secosio P through S. So we'll move by Mr. Lucy, seconded by Mr. DeCourt. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Next, item T, Secosio and Associates, $1,181,400 for Colgate High School Design, February of 25 service.
This is a progress payment. It's not monthly. I think it's capturing a couple of months worth of progress. I'll tell you that Secosio and the team has been grappling with many challenges. The Department of Environmental Management, for one, a complicated site, and RIDE and their various needs and whims. So it's a long way of saying they've earned their fee. We recommend approval.
Right, that's been, particularly obstinate,
less than cooperative.
less than cooperative.
But is some of this a mid-course correction on their part?
On whose part?
Ride's part?
We're in a public meeting, so I'm
Yeah.
gonna choose my words.
Okay,
very
yeah,
carefully,
it's all right. Well, I just, when
but,
you start here and, yep, fine, they'll say, no, right?
Yeah,
So now it kind of.
we're not sure.
Okay.
There's no set process here in Massachusetts, where, like, I mean, here in Rhode Island, like there is in Massachusetts, where if you check certain boxes, your project moves forward. It often depends on how one or two individuals feel at that given moment in time. So
Okay. Understood. I didn't fall off the turnip truck.
Dave, where does that bring Secosio as far as percentage of
That's,
completion?
it brings us to 50% CDs, and we're actually at 75% right now.
Yeah, they've
You
continued to
didn't bill
develop.
enough, Steve.
Pardon me?
You didn't bill enough then.
Go easy. Go easy. Maybe they'll forget.
It's always from the month prior.
All right, any other questions for left field? Looking for a motion to approve Secosio and Associates, item T.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Lucy, second by Mr. DeCourt. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Next, Stephen Turner, Inc. Ride required commissioning services, items U through Z totaling $5,623.25.
This is the ongoing commissioning of all our HVAC projects. They are doing a good job, and we keep moving along with it.
Any questions for Steve on any of those? It's assorted schools. Okay, hearing none, looking for motion to approve Stephen Turner. Moved by Mr. Kravitz, second by Ms. Calori. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Next, WB Mason, item AA, for $3,850. Final payment, Steve.
This is it for the install of the book shelving at the Greenwood project.
Okay, any questions for Steve on that? Hearing none, look for motion to approve WB Mason for $3,850. Moved by Mr. Kravitz, seconded by myself and Superintendent Gambrick. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, new business, discussion, capital and construction project status update per Mr. Gothberg.
Okay, Holloman, great shape. We actually got the transformer end of last week, so they are pulling secondary cables. It looks like week and a half, we'll have permanent power off the new transformer. It's going very well. Windows are about 95%. As soon as we finish the brickwork that we just approved, we'll get that wrapped up. They got ceilings going in, commissioning's looking at everything. We should be done, worst case, end of May. We have startup scheduled for the rooftop units, middle of this month. And then, beginning of April, we'll start with the VRS. So we are in very, very good shape.
That's the only one that's going on?
We're wrapping up Open Beach. As spring comes, they have some cleanup to do. They just removed the trailers from the site, not to put the fence back. We have today, I'm hoping they're going to straighten out the ruts from when they moved the trailers or the field behind Open Beach. There's some cleanup to do in the front. Found a couple rooms where they missed a few things. the other day, so they're gonna go back and take care of that. We have not had a problem with the HVAC unit in a month, knock on wood. And, we just keep moving ahead. Greenwood, there's a couple items I want them to do in April vacation. So I'll move forward with that. But everything else seems to be good, and we will start, with the, new projects, the end of June, so the school gets out, we'll start moving over on those doors.
All right, and then, as everybody knows, Mr. Iafredi has left. So now it's Steve and Jenny, two-person office for now. So as that develops and posted, we'll have more to report later. Okay, next is discussion high school project update for left fields.
High school first. So before John gets into it, I want to start this meeting with some good news that we just received yesterday. We have received bid packages back for the program school for steel, elevators, and concrete, and we are under budget. If the tariffs get reduced, this includes tariffs, if the tariffs get reduced or eliminated on those three packages alone, will be $1 million under budget. So we feel that this hard work and this planning is going the right way. With that being said, a lot of credit needs to go to Secocio and SOM and Demio for really crunching these numbers as well as they have been. So that's how I want to start our update, and then I'll turn it over to John to see if he can top it.
No pressure.
I don't have much to say after that. We touched on the toll gate issue, and it's something that we're tracking, and legitimately concerned about. We do need to get approval, in order to move forward and formally release these packages. So I want to make the committee aware, I think it behooves us to just be honest here, that it's something that we're grappling with. As of right now, there's no movement on, the delivery date of the schools. We're still on track there. But it's a real issue.
So, Pilgrim has already had everything approved, packages can be awarded, and that's the project that starts first. So we've got a little bit of float here to work with them, but at this point, we're Steve Gothberg and I are now calling in the guns. I think is a nice way of putting it. We're calling in the guns to see what we can do to keep RIDE on track and moving forward.
There's one, I suppose, bit of good news is that there's enough work at Tollgate, being like the drum rock demolition and abatement for one, and then a lot of site work that we can mobilize and get going and make some progress in the short term while we work through the design issues. So that's going to help us keep on track. There's a lot of site work that can be done on the front end at Tollgate that we can tackle and be productive.
You guys know that we are very conservative in our estimations on time and on budget. We believe in not waiting for news to change. If we're concerned about something, we'll tell you up front. This is not one of the things that we're as concerned about in terms of like how we were with the budget when we first saw those budget numbers, but we felt it was worth bringing to your attention that if RIDE really drags their feet and we run out of site work to do and we run out of early stuff that we can do, we're looking at a slip.
What are they specifically dragging their feet about?
We talk after.
Oh, of course we can.
So, they're aware that, delay costs money and delay pressures your end date, which
Yes.
presses your reimbursement, which, there's no ripple effect that happens.
They, I think that's,
I know they know that.
I think the people who,
How about, why don't we just say, so I talked about the challenges due to the site, right? That entailed a full redesign. So I think it's valid, right, that we really should maybe pause, which we've been doing, and just make sure we have our ducks in a row. Make sure we have the scope 100% fully defined before we move forward. So we're doing that. It's taking extra time, but maybe we just leave it at that. And,
Okay. It could be, is it
Could
then
be for the
kind of
benefit.
holding our feet to the fire a little bit too, say, make sure you have all this.
Yeah,
Well,
Only to give everyone the benefit.
It's part of the right process,
Yep.
and we are dealing with the challenges of that and the changes that are requested.
Okay. Any other questions for Luckfield?
Chris, are those hard numbers?
yeah, those are bid results we've gotten back. We
So
bid
the
those
design
back
for steel and concrete's 100%.
for Pilgrim, yeah. There's a couple little things we're looking at, a concrete haunch versus footings, toll gate. There's a couple little things that we're looking at on toll gate that could affect, but it's only a couple columns. You know, it's not like it's a.
So how was this bid? Did Demio put these
Give me
packages
put these
out?
packages out in the street, yeah.
Were they publicly opened or?
That's the, to GM, we haven't even reviewed them yet. This is just what we got yesterday, like the first round of numbers yesterday. So there hasn't been a descoping unit, there hasn't been like a full, the descoping has happened, there hasn't been a full award yet. We'd have to come to you guys to read the packages out, recommend award, all of that sort of stuff.
Yeah, I'm not in favor of the early bid package award because then you can't stop. So until you know, have the whole budget done, I'm opposed to it, but that's just my personal opinion.
We know.
I have one question. The sidewalk bids are out, you said?
Site work bids?
For Pilgrim, they are soliciting, numbers for.
And when do they do, do you know?
It's gonna be the end of the month.
And so my other question was, is both schools didn't go out together for site work.
No, I mean, they're different phases of development, right? So Pilgrim's a little further along.
And they're totally different sites.
Yeah.
I know, just
But if we're talking about potentially getting, efficiency with having both schools, that will still reflect on the two separate.
And the early bid package for the civil work was just issued last night from the civil engineers, so we're gonna send that to the OPM, have them review it, and then we'll go to Demio, and they can put that out to bid.
It's a good point. I mean, we are starting that process for Tollgate also. So,
So you asked, is there your question, okay? Am I interpreting it that they should go at the same time?
No, I just want to see who bids on site work.
Oh, okay, all right. Yeah, I don't know if there was an
I'm curious
advantage.
what the numbers are gonna be. Because site work, as you said to me last time, was the biggest, as a $6 million
It's a hit.
overage for Colgate. I'm just curious who bids on that site work.
It's gonna be some substantial firms, that's for sure.
Okay, any other questions for left field on status of the high school? Okay, yeah, yes, Mr. Hunt.
We're still gearing up towards opening both schools at the same time.
yes.
So when does Tollgate catch up? Approximately, best guess. Yeah, we keep hearing they're a month behind this. I'm wondering when you think
Well,
it might
substantial
catch up
completion
to
for Pilgrim is
going down the
in
road together.
It's,
No, in June or July, but I think midpoint of when the buildings are erected and being constructed is when they'll probably catch up.
And there's no concern about that. A little concern, I guess I should.
Yeah, Demio hasn't expressed, I mean, that's why we're still pushing on the schedule and that, I mean, that's why we're trying to be ultra conservative with everything and talking about getting packages out, getting them bid, knowing where we are with numbers, anticipating tariffs. We're trying to do all of our work up front. So the best possible way we can.
Thank you.
Any other questions for left field? Okay, last agenda item is an action item, and I kind of got ahead of myself. So discussion action, Assistant Director of Capital Construction Projects, resignation. So as we know, Mike Iafredi resigned due to another interest. So we're just looking for this committee's approval to go out and interview people for that job again. Because, you know, as the high school project rolls along here, there's Steve and Jenny in that office. That's a lot of work to put on two people. So, and then
The other reason is.
he's not around forever either. He looks 45. He's really not.
I'll be retiring in January 2026, so we need to, the whole plan with Mike was to get him ready to take over.
Right.
So we'll need to get somebody else in line, and it's not somebody you can pick on. What's that?
Is something that's either necessary to the subcommittee, the school committee?
Yeah, I don't know. So we put it on here,
Paid by the school.
because I don't remember if when we pursued Mike, if we,
Paid, employed by the Warwick Schools and the superintendent size.
I yeah.
So I don't know that this is something that's even necessary.
I don't remember what we did when Mike went out to, Mike, did we do that? Did we ask the committee to say this is okay?
We brought it forward for approval to move to the school committee. That's what we did. So I think that's what we did before, so
Yeah, so if we just interviewed and we didn't require building committee approval, right? So we're just saying, you know, building committee doesn't need to approve it.
No, because the position's already in the Warwick schools, whether it's grant funded or not, or bond funded, it
Okay.
doesn't make a difference. It's contract, the person's contracted with the superintendent of the schools. And this
All right,
committee
so-
is a subcommittee of the school committee.
Okay, so there's no need for this committee to approve that. Because
This is
you post
just-
it, that it comes to us, but your candidates will come to us, right? You'll,
I would think so. I
interview
mean,
and all that, and then-
Steve's the expert in the area.
yeah,
I think this is just accepted resignation. I think that's all this was for.
Well, the school committee would accept his
yeah,
resignation.
yeah, I think Bill's right. I think the school committee would have to accept this resignation.
He's not employed by the school
Right.
committee.
Yeah, all right, so we don't have to approve that, so it's a discussion, which we'll be looking to replace.
So will that be a posting, Steve? Are you gonna tailor
It's already been
a
done.
description of what you're looking for?
It's already been posted.
You rejected.
Come on, retire.
I will say that my LinkedIn algorithm did say jobs recommended for you. Assistant Director of Gallup Projects.
There you go. Okay, any other questions then for, anything? Any future, no public comment, obviously, no one here, any committee member requests for future consideration, just reach out. Other than that, our next meeting will be April 2nd. Can't believe this, it's April. Wow. So, if there's no other
We will be
business
looking,
before.
just really quickly, sorry. We will be looking to go to the school committee at their meeting in April, their first meeting in April for approval of the CD drawings prior to the construction start.
That'll be probably second week,
Mhm.
second Tuesday. Okay. All right, no other business, looking for motion to adjourn. So moved by Mr. Holmes and Mr. Lucy, second by Mr. Kravitz, all in favor? Aye, we're adjourned. Recording.